Okay, so I looked at somebody I used to know, right? A new Prime original. So this is directed by Dave Franco and he co-wrote it with Alison Brie. The film is produced by Marty Bowen, uh, Wyatt Godfrey, Michael Himmler, Lee Kaite, Isaac Klausner, and Ben Stillman. It is executive produced by Teddy Schwartzman, Laura Quicksilver, Bart Lipton, um, Dave Franco, and Alison Brie. Music is Danny Benzi and Sonda Jurayans. Brian Lanny on cinematography. Ernie Gilbert edited it all. Production design is Brandon Toner Connolly. Art direction is Sean Rooney. Michelle L. Hall. Set decoration. Amanda Needham was on costume design. And our cast. Well, Alison Brie is Ali. Jay Ellis is Sean. Kiersey Clemons is Cassidy. Benny is played by Danny Pudi. Olga Merdiz is Joanna, Sean's mum. Haley Joel Osment is Jeremy, Sean's brother. Ted Rooney is his dad, Barry. We've got Julie Haggerty is Libby. I think that's Jeremy's wife, if I remember correctly. Aidan Mayeri is Kayla. That's Ali's assistant. We've got Marina Lee as Serena. Rochelle Maria Muzquiz is Mel. Brad is played by Loudon McCleary. Ev is played by Philip Ray Guerrera. Michelle is played by Hannah Barefoot. Dee Dee is played by Amy Sedaris. We've got Sam Richardson as Dar and Zoe Chow as Ramora. So they are Alison's bosses. Look, Christian, played by Kelvin Yu. He works with Ali. There's Chef Jamie, played by Evan Jong Keat. Sheldon, played by Lee Gower. Teresa, played by Rachel Pat. They are Cassidy's parents, I believe. I think I've got that right. I mean, that's basically the main cast, right? The gist of the story is this. On a trip to her hometown, workaholic Ali reminisces with her ex, Sean, and starts to question everything about the person she's become. Things only get more confusing when she meets Cassidy, who reminds her of the person who reminds her of the person she used to be. So, now this one, it's a little bit confusing, I would say, right? Just because you're like, what actually is this film? Right? Because I think there's weird comedy, just straight comedy. You know what I mean? There's those different avenues of comedy. And this one starts as being just weird. Like, right? A weird isn't quite the word, but it's just mad over the top, right? Just there's, we're on a shoot for Ali's reality TV show, Desert Island, which is, I mean, it's just a ridiculous concept just in itself. So you think, oh, are we lampooning reality TV? Is that what we're doing here? You know what I mean? So you wonder about that, but that's not really it. But then just in that whole sequence, right? When you've got Dar and Remora like talking with her, and it's just like, oh, the ratings are down. Oh, where's that? Oh, that's probably about my dick level. Is it your dick level? No, it's my dick. And it's just this whole thing, which is just like, what? I don't even know what that is. You know what I mean? Because it's just like people aren't talking like that. So okay, so now we're just being straight silly. But then the rest of the film isn't quite there. So it's just like, wait, we're going from that to that? This is weird. This is weird. But you've got Ali, sacked, and then it's just like, oh, I'm gonna go back home. So basically what's gonna happen now, right? And that's what we get. Someone who's trying to find the thing to cling to be like, oh, I'm a good person. It's like we've seen it all before, really, but we've seen it kind of better, you know? We've seen it done in different, like, a film that really comes to mind is Dan in Real Life with Steve Carell, which is, I really enjoyed that film. And you actually like Dan in that one, right? You can kind of relate to him because he's not setting out to be a complete arsehole. It just kind of, things just seem to happen. But in this one, there's a clear intent of, I'm trying to do this thing, right? Which makes you go, "Ay," right? Because I think if you were just like, I need to avoid that person, I don't want to, ruin this situation, but then you're clearly trying to ruin the situation, right? Which is just not good. Not good. Everything kind of gets wrapped up real simple and, you know what I mean? Just, yeah, it's weird, right? It's finding people super easy. You know what I mean? Like that whole thing was just super easy. But you'd be like, would it have been that easy to find these people? I don't know. But it's just like, how would you explain them coming? Because you understand, like, by doing this thing, you are opening up a can of worms, right? A situation that is not going to be good. And it's like, once you've done that, do you think people are going to look at you and be like, okay, we can now do it? No, it's all going to be messed up. You're a pariah now, so it's just like, you're not going to be able to explain that. But then after these things go down in the film, we have the characters just be like, oh, I'm going to forgive that person. And you're just like, wait, what's happening here? That makes no sense, right? You're trying to show, oh, this character's badass, this character's like independent and strong and blah blah blah, all of these things, right? But she's in love and she's doing these stuff. But then you have her forgive some really shitty behavior by this person she doesn't know, and this other person who she's going to marry, which you're just like, what the fuck? What the, it's weird, right? Because I kind of feel with films like this, and I mean, there's so many films, books, TV shows, all of that jazz, but it's like they are saying to you, oh, you should always just let people off being complete and utter assholes, right? Which makes no sense. Makes no, because look, I get you might go, okay, look, I really care for you. Let's try and work through this thing, but we have to go back some steps. Right? It makes no sense to then move forward with what, because it's just like you are at one moment thinking one thing. You're like, oh no, I think I'm in love with this other person and not the person I thought I was in love with. And I think the person I was in love with should quit doing all the things they really enjoy doing because I want them to be in this place because I like it and blah blah. And then all of a sudden, right? Not even in a day, you completely do a 180. You do a 180, and now you're like, oh, I've seen the errors of my way, and you should do. I'm just like, people do not change that quickly, right? You can be like, I'm trying to see things in this different light, right? I'm going to work to improve that thing. But no one does that flip like that. And it's just like, oh, now I'm this. Right. So you have these weird situations, and people do look at these things for whatever reason and go, that's how I'm living my life. Right. Oh, that character did this thing. So that's what I'm gonna, you know what I mean? It's bizarre. It's bizarre. And it's like a programming of people. Ugh. It's just a bit frustrating because, as I said, look, there's films that have kind of done this, but I just felt done it in a stronger way, right? Because the character just not the best character. You know what I mean? That you don't gravitate to them. It's a kind of shitty, kind of shitty. Like the mum situation, always walking in with the mum and the boyfriend. It was just a bit like, okay, look, you've done it once. You would think that you're always going to be cautious walking into a room from that point onwards. You know what I mean? That's what you would think, right? It, you know what this did feel like, right? Because you've got Purdy in it and Brie both in Community. It does feel like it is an episode of Community. It's obviously not, but it's got that kind of tone to it. Kind of absurd, unrealistic situations, just all of that jam. That's what it kind of the vibe you get from this film. I would say if you enjoy stuff like Your Place of Mine, right? Or what is it? Look About Fate. Yes, about if those are your jam, you know what I mean? Shotgun Wedding. I think you would probably enjoy Somebody I Used to Know. You know? I think you would get on with that. The nudity in this film is kind of bizarre as well. Because it's a little out of left field. You know what I mean? You're just like, okay, why would they do that? Why would you do that with someone you do not know and is trying to sabotage your shit? Like, what? And at the end, that thing that woman says, I'd be pissed if I was that camera dude. because that felt like it was a dig at homeboy. You know what I mean? That's what it felt like. I feel if I was that, I'd be a little salty. I'd be a little salty. You feel me? But yeah, I don't know, man. Look, it's on Prime. You might enjoy it if you're a fan of, you know, Your Place of Mind, Community, that cultured shit, right? If not, I'd stick with Dan in real life. But yeah, just my views, baby. Just my views. All right, it's out now. There you go. Somebody I used to know.